The Music Retail Show.
All right, well, here we go. We are, we're sitting down and we're going to do another episode, and it is the second day of July. I can't believe half the year is over already.
It is, but I think the big question is, will we know how to do a podcast without a guest?
You know, that's actually a great question because...
How long has it been? It's been a long time. We've been very, very fortunate and have had some awesome guests over the last long haul. And
it's been since we were at the hotel in Anaheim.
Okay. So maybe not that long, which was in January.
January.
But prior to that, it was a long time as well. So
yeah, but still, that's a long time for the fact that we've now been in existence. Hey, this is a big deal. We've crossed over the 40 mark. I think we've done 42 episodes.
Something like that.
44 episodes.
44 episodes,
Man, my goodness. I mean, if you hit 50, you win some kind of an award.
Well, I wish we would have got paid for like the last 44.
Well, man, yeah, that'd be
I don't know
great.
what that means.
I don't know. I don't know what that means either. But hey, you know what? Payment is just the joy of sitting down and doing this.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ponder that.
Yeah. All right. Moving right along. So what's going on? What do we need to talk about today?
Well, we're gonna talk about something a little bit different and a little bit unique. As some people know, our regular 9-to-5 jobs, we don't spend much time talking about. We kind of reference it in the way of just. We just reference it, but we don't actually say, hey, this is what we do. And I think today we're going to do that. We're going to talk about what our 9-to-5 is, and anybody out there that don't know, you'll get a better taste of it. And I think it's good timing. Yeah, no,
I think it's great timing, you know. And a lot of our listeners kind of know, but this will be a great education for people who don't know.
Correct.
And obviously it'll be an invitation for them to be able to reach out and find out even more information to talk to somebody in person. But, well, hey, who is MIRC?
Well, MIRC is a company that's been in business about 27 years, I think since 1992.
Yeah.
So is that 27 years? 27? Yeah, 27 years.
Yeah.
So it's been in business that long, which is a long time for a business. We wholesale musical instruments, stringed instruments, to retailers. We have a great presence with eBayers and Reverb, basically people that sell online. Some pawn. Some of the upper-end pawn brokers we do business with. We're members of National Pawnbrokers Association, great company or great organization, and that's kind of what we do. We wholesale.
And I think you mentioned it, but our biggest leverage is the fact that we provide access to a lot of major brands.
Correct.
Which is a big deal for people who can't get those brands. So
Correct.
Explain just, I don't know, in your own words.
Well, I think what I'll do is I'll talk maybe from the customer's point of view.
Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe if I was a customer, how I would think of MIRC. And that's the company, Musical Instrument Reclamation Corp. Is it Corp?
I think it says actually corporation.
Corporation?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's why we go by MIRC.
MIRC, yeah. So anyways, MIRC.
MIRC.
So there is a lot of people out there, like you mentioned, that are looking for brands, quality brands, that they can't get them.
Yeah.
It's either a franchise, they're too close to somebody else, it's not cost effective, meaning that the buy-in for certain manufacturers is too much, and they're not at a place where they can do it. So oftentimes they, I don't want to say are stuck because that sounds really negative, but let's say they're stuck just because no other word pops into my head. They're stuck with certain brands that may or may not limit their success. Yeah. And so we often find people they go, oh my goodness, I can't believe there's a company that does this. This is exactly what I need.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I will say that one of the number one things that pops up in conversation with new leads or people who have just stumbled across us is I can't get enough inventory.
Correct.
Because a lot of people
Used inventory, yeah.
used inventory, or
Yeah.
even just inventory in general. I think
Yeah.
a lot of times people are like, "Man, I could sell more guitars if I could have them." But like you
Yeah.
said, if people go, "Man, I'm not able to pick up this brand for whatever reason," but you know what? I could come over to MIRC. Oh wow, they actually provide a refurbished version of that brand, and man, that can get them in the door and get them going in the right direction.
Yeah, and let's break that down a little bit, because you said I can't get inventory. So let's take it from the new standpoint. What there's a lot of people that don't understand, because the obvious would be, well, then just pick up the phone and order more, and then you'll have more. Well, oftentimes in this industry, and this has been going on for ever since I've been in the industry. They kind of rely on just-in-time shipping. So what they try to do is they try to time and they try to predict what people are going to buy. So they order it, comes into a warehouse, and then they distribute it, and boom, they have an empty warehouse again, and all the product goes out. What I have found is, like you were saying, that people don't have inventory and they can't get it, is because then whatever brand that they're talking about, they run out of stuff.
Yeah.
And so they can't get it. It may be a brand that's because I break down brands A, B, and C. It might be an A brand, but if you can't get it because they're always back ordered, they're always waiting for the next shipment, well, then that limits your turns and how much profit at the end of the year that you can make. So that's on the new side.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, the obvious is people don't nowadays taking a guitar to a music store isn't like it was 20 years ago. They'll take it to Reverb, they'll take it to eBay and just sell it themselves.
Yeah.
Facebook,
Craigslist.
There's a ton of platforms out there
That's right.
for people to do it themselves. So there's a lot of music stores that profit center is no longer there, because when I worked retail, and I brought this up, oftentimes the first thing a mom, when she walks in looking for a guitar, says is, "Where's your used guitars?"
Yeah.
And that is shrinking on a daily basis.
And that's actually kind of what I was thinking when I said can't get enough inventory.
Yes.
A lot of times people are picking up, they carry a nice 3, 4, 5 brands, but their used inventory is so hard to maintain.
Correct.
They want to sell it quickly, or they can't get enough. They wish it was bigger, they could offer more. And of course, that's where MIRC comes in.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that is something that is a huge benefit. There's a lot of people don't understand that there's a certain market out there, especially since the recession. I think that's probably where we can say it started. Yeah. During the recession, there became a huge shift in the perception of used. Reclaimed wood. There's all these fancy words, reclaimed or repurposed or.
I built these drum shells out of a log that fell down in a lake 300 years ago.
Says the guitar player. There's all these fancy words, and it's become very acceptable for people to get a used guitar. Like I said, we got Reverb, you got eBay, you got all these platforms to cycle. In most cases, like what we're talking about today is guitars or stringed instruments. So it makes it real easy to do that.
Yeah.
And so it's very acceptable. So not only are people seeking brands, like we mentioned, the A, B, or C brands, but they're also they want to select used as a brand, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the one of the biggest appeals to buying used instruments from MIRC is obviously you have the ability to sell something at a competitive price, and so that's a big deal. So you can kind of choose. While they're still selling new products from new companies, it gives them the leverage to sell good quality instruments that are not necessarily stuck to a MAP pricing. And,
correct.
Kind of gives them some more options. I mean, because we live in a world where even with the Reverbs and eBays and all that, man, used instruments is such a huge.
It's a huge part of our industry.
It's a huge market, yeah.
So you talk to clients all the time. What are some of the things that they say to you that makes you realize that every day you have a very valuable job in moving used product?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, it's kind of some of what we've been saying. I mean, a lot of music stores, not necessarily online people, but music stores, they are, they want to be able to control the quality of the instruments hanging on their walls. They might get stuff off the street, but it's hard to control that. Or they might be getting stuff off the street that they need to reject because I've already got 17 of those.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take those. So when I'm working with my clients and they see the value in it, man, they can call up and they can order 5 different brands, and they can buy acoustics, they can buy electrics, they can buy a couple basses, and if we have stuff available, they can buy maybe Strat packs of certain levels. And so
which Strat packs is a generic. It could be Ibanez, it could be any brand. It's just a generic term.
Typically, any electric pack that from it
has an amp and a gig bag.
That's
and stuff.
right.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the big deals that people love about MIRC is that we are a one-stop shop. I can buy multiple brands, multiple types of guitars. I can actually add on cases, and depending on what we do throughout the year, any other possible accessories, and people see the value in that. And it's a big deal. So any music store that can bolster their used part of their music store, and they buy into what we do, I've only heard success stories come out of that.
Now, a minute ago, you said you were talking about a brick and mortar store. And so I don't think you were alienating online. Mm-mm. I think you were just separating and saying that the brick and mortar store was looking for clean product.
Yes.
So let's talk online.
Online is people just need product. I mean, I think when it boils down to it, the saying is true. If you don't have it, you can't sell it. Now, it goes for both stores and online.
Sure.
But online people, I think, are looking for, hey, listen, I need to have product because, I guess we could get into this a little bit, but, it comes down to it's an equation, Mm-hmm. I think a lot of my online dealers it's funny how you can put it into an equation. Hey, if you want to sell 50 guitars a month, based on our averages, you've got to have so many guitars constantly in stock to be able to achieve that.
Yeah.
And MIRC is a huge advantage for our online dealers to be able to do that. They can call up, they can order 2, 3, 4, 5 times a month, depending on how things are going out. Mm-hmm. They can order bigger orders. And take advantage of some of our, freight programs. But I think one of the biggest things we do is we allow online dealers to build their inventory up, and they're able to sell. And of course, to brag on us a little bit, I think, the repair techs that we have here at MIRC are some of the best in the market. Are there guys out there that can sit down and work with a vintage Martin and take care of it and really work on it and spend hours? Sure, absolutely.
Some great repair
guys out there. But our guys can do that too. Also, at the same time, we have guys out here that are putting out 10 to 12, maybe 15 guitars a day, setting them up properly, doing great jobs so that we can actually put quality guitars in the hands of our dealers. Mm-hmm. And so with that in turn, I think our online dealers have a huge leg up selling online because we can constantly feed them guitars that they can turn around and sell.
Correct. I don't think we're looking for a pat on the back. So anything that we talk about today and any angle that we talk about is not to say, hey, look at us. But there is a lot of things that from the outside looking in, that I look at it, again, coming from the retail world, that I actually go, wow, I wish I knew about MIRC back when.
Yeah.
Now, I carried most of the brands, so there wasn't a whole lot that I can choose from to buy here. Because to clarify, if you carry a certain brand, we don't sell that brand back into your store. Yeah. That way, there's no competition between your rep and the manufacturer and yourself, and we're in the middle, and it gets ugly. We don't do that. But if you do not carry a brand, and one of our dealers isn't down the road from you, then you have the opportunity to get a cool brand. But if you look at it, I think it's kind of cool because this is a unique place where you can come to, and if you're in the industry, and say you just open up a music store, and we'll use a couple names, and this isn't by any means to devalue the brand. That's not at all, because I'll use brands that we carry, so that just kind of backs that up. So if you open up a music store and you're a Washburn and say a Takamine dealer. So you got two great brands, two successful brands, two brands that have been in business for a long time, but you're actually limited. You're limited on maybe customers walking in, and because what happens is they walk in and go, hey, my son wants an Epiphone Les Paul. Do you have that? No, but I got this. Well, that's not what he's looking for. And then they leave and they buy it online, or they go to another music store. And as a small dealer, you're really stuck there. You're going, man, I wish I had more money so I can buy some of these brands. I wish I had more access to the industry, but I've only been in business, say, 2 years, and I just can't do it. Well, in some cases, we allow the opportunity for you, like you mentioned, to carry 5, 10, 15, 20 brands in your store that you may or may not be able to get at a price that is amazing. Because if you add up, say 3 of the top brands that we carry, if you add up what it costs to do opening orders and be a dealer for those guys, you don't have the money. But to do minimum orders with us and do business with us, you're like, oh my goodness, I hit the lottery. People go, man, I've been in this business for 15 years. Where have you been?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And so there's huge value there. And when you understand exactly what we do, is we help give you an opportunity to maximize your opportunity. I look at it this way. I think you were with me. Were you with me at the NAMM show several years ago when that guy walked up and we were talking to a manufacturer?
We were right by the Dean booth. Kind of in that hallway right there.
So we were talking to a manufacturer, and someone walks up, asks, "Hey, are you Richard?" "Yes, I'm so and so." I feel bad, but I didn't know who he was, but he knew who I was for some reason, and he said, "Because of you guys, we're in business because of the recession." And that is a turning point for me, to where I stopped and go, wow, what I do for a living means something. Because here's people that I don't even know that we are helping be in business. We are helping them make money, be profitable, and to be successful in whatever way they can. That's their family life. I don't know the story of this gentleman. He could have been married, had a couple kids, putting kids through college. Who knows what was really going on? But when someone says, because of you guys, I'm still in business, it makes me stop and go, oh my gosh, we need to take this serious, because there's a lot of good benefit here.
There is a lot of good benefits, and who wouldn't want to have access to 2 or 3 or 5 other major brands that they don't have in their store already?
Correct.
And to be honest with you, we love these other brands too. We support them.
I like all the brands.
We like all the brands, and
and people say, why do you like all the brands? Because that's how we make money.
That's exactly right.
I mean, I'm not shy about that.
No, and that's not right. And even to be, let's full disclosure on this. Let's just say somebody comes in and tries a brand and they do a great job, and then they go off and they sign up as a dealer because they know they sell it well. That's great.
That's fine.
That's part of the game. That's what we do.
Sure.
And maybe we'll just continue to sell them some other brands that they can use.
Absolutely.
But I feel like, we're also a big help to some of these manufacturers and brands, because we have the ability to encourage them and push them there that maybe they wouldn't otherwise.
Well, we also, and some of these upper end, and I don't know if we're getting off track of what we want to talk about, even though I'm not sure what we want to talk about, but But anyways, we'll figure it out.
We're talking about us.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times there's manufacturers that are real grateful for what we do on one side, because we also, like you talked about, grow people up.
Yeah.
And so there's been several dealers that couldn't afford XYZ brand, but then they get very good in the industry, and then before long they go direct.
Yeah.
You know, I remember a dealer that spent an enormous amount of money with us every month. And I just remember going, oh my gosh, this guy makes his company a lot of money. He's a great dealer. And he kept on buying and buying to get more and more and more successful. Got a brick and mortar store because he was mainly doing online. And then he started picking up dealers. And I walked into his store probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I'm guessing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this store is killer. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. He had all the lines you can imagine. By then we had quit selling to him, and I'm just like going, oh my gosh, you know, this guy's got a great store. And I walked out, and part of me was bummed out because we didn't do business with him.
Yeah.
But there was part of me that was very proud. Because of what I've done, it helped this guy launch into and have a music store.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like a minor league baseball to some people, to where we help get them to the big leagues, if you will.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like I said, you kind of juggle that, but it was still a good story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we, we're confidence builders. And I've told a lot of people
We're cheerleaders.
We do. We encourage people, and we give them confidence. You know, if they buy several brands that they end up doing really well with, and they go off, then that's great. And actually, it's been reciprocated a bunch of times before in the past, where we've had manufacturers that are walking into stores not doing very well for whatever reason, and they say, hey, you need to call MIRC and get some other brands in this store, so you guys can build your business.
Yeah, I've had reps to where there's one guy, and I don't want to mention his name because I don't know if his boss and that manufacturer will get mad. But man, I swear I need to buy this guy a steak sometime.
Sure. Probably a few people.
Yeah, he's referred a lot of customers to us. So
That's
it is a great thing. But,
well, and it is. It is a give and take business. So. We've always said that, if music stores want to be, or even online dealers, you have to have variety. You have to have different brands. And I think that's one of the things that MIRC that's the leverage that we give our dealers, whether they're in store or online, is we can do that. We can give you variety. We can give you quality used instruments. We stand behind our product, and to be honest with you, I think we have some of the best technicians. I'm not trying to toot our horn. I just think we have some great technicians that do some great stuff.
So let's talk about. We should probably pick some points and kind of work down the line, because either that or we're just going to sound like our infomercial that might be accurate, but
3 easy payments in 1995.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good idea. So let's talk about inventory and how that works, because that is a quirky thing with us. And so let's talk about it.
So I would say this: if you want to be a successful dealer for MIRC, you have to buy in with the way we get inventory in. For people who go, hey, you know what? I just want to buy this one brand and that's it. It becomes a tough road. But the people who realize that when we get inventory in from different manufacturers, we might get one manufacturer in every 4 or 5 weeks. We might get some brands in once a year. We might get some in once a quarter. And the people who understand and do a lot of business with us understand that and realize that you have to buy and take advantage of inventory when we get it in.
Well, I'm gonna be a little crass, and I'm not asking you to. I could say I can, I'll get away with it. Is you talked about brands. If you're looking for a brand, and you talk about the difficulties of it. So one thing that we all got to understand, and I'm just being candid, and again, I hope this doesn't bite me in the butt later, but I don't know if it should. I was going to say I don't care, but that sounds real rude and
so rude.
But anyways, so you take a brand, you take one of the major brands, and they say, I only want you guys for this. The problem with it is this: we don't need you for just one brand.
And that's the truth.
We don't want you for one brand.
That's the truth.
Because sometimes, in some cases, especially if it's a premium brand, we sell it out. We sell more than we get.
Yeah.
More demand than supply. And so we don't need another fill-in-the-blank dealer. Go to the manufacturer and become a dealer. But if you want to carry a variety of stuff or you want to carry a couple brands, because I completely understand that there are some people out there that do have a lot of good brands. And they're like, hey, listen, man, I've got almost everything you've got, except there's a couple brands I don't. That's a different story.
Yeah.
But if somebody only wants this brand because they think it's cool, they think it's fun, that's what they play, it's probably not going to work out.
It's not going to work out. And we've proven that over and over and over again with people. Hey, it's the law of averages. If you have 10 dealers that want to buy that product, but you only have enough product to push and sell to 5 of them, some are going to get it, some aren't. So, it's just the law of averages. So the people who become successful with MIRC are the people who buy in and buy the variety and learn how to sell those guitars, learn how to adopt and learn and bring them in and figure it out.
Yeah.
We're in the music business. Name one music store, or I would even say, I'm sure there's an example I'm not thinking of, but name one business of anything that sells one brand and that's it. They don't sell any other brand unless it's a specific brand. You walk into an Apple store, you're only going to buy Apple products. But even then, they're selling accessories of other brands. But
sure.
but music stores, you're not going to find one guitar line hanging on a wall. You need to have the variety of it. So those who become successful with MIRC adopt with what we are doing and understand that and learn how to do that. And I tell every new dealer that comes on, there's a little bit of a learning curve. You might be used to how a manufacturer buys or sells and you buy from them. We're going to be slightly different than that. We'll walk you through it and we'll teach you how to do it, but you have to adopt with what we do.
Well, and I'm going to be a little more specific, and you touched on it a little bit, but I'm going to spend a little bit more time on it because I think it's valuable, because unless you're in these 4 walls, it's hard to understand.
It is.
Yeah, a salesman will tell you, hey, we're in between orders right now, and you don't know exactly what that means, but here's how it works. So some manufacturers, depending on their size and what they have going on, you mentioned some of this, we'll get orders from them every month, quarter, twice a year, or once a year, depending on the size. And that's what you have to buy when those lines come out. So there's some, whenever we advertise or we talk about, or you see it in a video that we do, and you see a certain brand, likely that we just got that in.
Yeah.
And you need to call and do it. And whenever we run specials or sales or any promotional stuff, I joke around internally and say we're not mattress salesmen.
Yeah.
Because mattresses and some companies, they're like, hey, we've extended the sale. The holiday was so good, we extended it all week.
Yeah.
Well, you can buy a mattress any day of the week at 70% off.
Yeah.
But we don't do that. We have a sale that'll go from whatever day we say to whatever day we say. And if it's a quantity amount, that's what we have. There's no hidden agenda. There's no false advertising. There's no beating around the bush. That's what we have.
Yeah.
And so that's you were talking about some of the dealers that have been around and know. They're the ones that go, hey, he's got this brand in stock. These models I've done very well with. I need to get them right now.
Yeah.
There's not a ploy for us to be like used car salesmen.
Yeah.
What we were trying to do is relay information to you so you know what we have. So if you're an active dealer, if you're a regular buyer, you know that what we're telling you is the truth. Mm-hmm. You can come in. You could come in and see, oh, he said they have 52. They've got 52.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, hey, we've got 60. I'm not saying we've got 40. I'm saying we've got 52 because we counted them.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in me personally that wants to falsify anything. And that is a great way for our buyers to do business with because they can trust us. They can actually go, hey, they just got this in stock. It's on sale for 3 days. He said, while supplies last, odds are it's going to run out. I need to react and buy it.
Yeah, and absolutely. And the other key to what we do is you use the term active dealer, which is a big terminology that we use around here. Active dealers, when I say successful, I do mean active dealers, but specifically successful active dealers. They're the ones that interact with MIRC quickly and often.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that you have to be, with MIRC. I have a lot of great pawn shops. They call up, they buy once a quarter, they buy big orders, and then they just buy out of what's available. That's great. We love those customers, but specifically in online dealers, the guys that I have that are successful, that they're moving, they're growing their business, and they're doing a lot of money. Man, I'm telling you what, they watch, they interact with our emails, they interact with our videos, they're on the phone calling me, and they are trying to buy, and they're trying to buy with what we have.
Correct.
So they've taken that word of picky, or they've taken the idea of being, tunnel vision on a specific brand, and they've thrown it out, and they've figured out a way. But I will say this too. It's a tough thing to get somebody to, maybe we can say a few words on this. Getting people to learn how to sell guitars specifically online is not an easy thing.
What do you mean?
Well, I think a lot of times people just go, well, hey, if I buy some guitars and I put them up on eBay, they're just going to sell. And then when they turn around and they sit and they don't sell like they thought, they have these unmet expectations, they can become discouraged, which is then they go, well, I bought 8 and 2 of them sold, so I'm only going to buy more of the 2 that sold. And it's kind of that reverse effect where, people need to learn how to sell guitars.
That's loaded. That's probably something that I wish our minimums were higher.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be. I'm not going to raise them. Yeah. Not
because you think that would bring more qualified.
Yeah, correct.
Dealers?
So we're very easy to do business with. We have a few rules, and rules is a harsh word. We have they're rules. I mean, we have a few things that we need you to abide by, and that's it. And so it's very easy to get in and do business with us if you want to sell gear. The problem is there's a lot of people that are not qualified because they have no experience in it. But for those that do have experience with it, this is like a huge gold mine, if you will, and you got to figure out how to mine it.
That's right.
It's completely different than calling a manufacturer and say, I need 6 of this, 3 of that, and 6 of this. You truly have to know what is available at what given time, and that's why we have sales reps that are always in tune. That's why we do videos 3 times a week. That's why we do a lot of this. But to be successful, you have to be active, like you mentioned, and you have to understand that just because you bought it doesn't mean it's going to be easy to sell.
Yeah.
You have to do your part. That's through pictures and other means out there. We don't sell guitars for people, because if that was the case, we just would have a bunch of people in-house and sell.
That's right. Yeah, but and I guess that's one of the conversations that we have a lot of times with people. But, I really do think at MIRC, we do. I want to go back to it is that we do instill confidence in a lot of people, because I do think there's sales reps here at MIRC. We are good and we are experienced. And when I say we are good, we're around this all the time. Yeah. So when we have dealers that go, hey, you know what? I really want to go. This is how much I've been doing. I'd like to grow by 10 to 20% this year. Can we try to create a path? And we're like, absolutely, let's do that. And we work hand in hand with people to try to help them grow their business.
Well, I think that's very, very unique, because we do have, probably, and I'm guessing I could be way off, our average time on the phone is probably 30 minutes. and sometimes even longer, because we do spend a lot of quality time with the dealers. It could be listening how their day is going, how their weekend was. When I said we're a cheerleader, there's oftentimes that someone calls and they tell us they had a great weekend because they know that we care and we're going to listen.
That's right.
You're right about, we are a group of people that want to see you grow. We invest a lot of time and a lot of resource into you being successful. I find great joy in selling and growing accounts. And sometimes I don't even think about myself, but I think about growing accounts by certain percentages. And a lot of times it's asking them, how much do you want to grow?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times people don't know.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we're taking people that are newer to the industry and teaching them more and more about business. How we're doing it is by the experience of talking to hundreds of dealers.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and through that, I think you get to iron out a lot of issues. We're just a very interactive business. We're not a company that you fill out a form online and then you submit this and then you get a staple response back on the guitars you want and then they get shipped and if other companies are doing that, great. I'm just saying we're a very interactive company.
Yeah,
so
very hands-on.
If you want, you get a sales rep, you get somebody who wants to invest in your business, you get somebody who has every interest in getting you guitars that you can turn around and sell. So even though somebody's pushing you to expand and to grow your business, they're still wanting you to do that in a way that you're going to be successful, because MIRC becomes successful when we do that.
Well, and probably a good test for a lot of this, and sometimes it's very defeating, is when you take a customer and you grow them up. And then some, not all, but some of them go and pick up all these lines and they go, man, I don't need you guys no more. Yeah. And we joke around internally, I'll see you in a couple of years. Because
it happens.
It happens. And the beauty of that is not that I don't want them to be successful with a manufacturer, is a lot of times they come back and then they automatically see the time that we put with people.
Yeah.
The investment that we make, the honesty, the caringness that we have towards our dealers, and then they go, wow, these guys really care about my business. I look back on some of our dealers and go, man, I can't believe I've known this guy for 15 years. It's funny, on my desk that I have, 8th grade graduation and high school graduation invitations. And, it might be, no, I'm not going to fly to whatever state, but I just sit there and what's funny is you would think that by now I would throw them away.
Yeah.
But I've got a bunch of them and I don't want to throw them away, because whenever I look at it, I go, man, I really like that family.
Yeah.
And it's beyond just knowing the guy who you talk to, but his wife, about his kids, and it's a connection. And that's something that we have a huge opportunity that sometimes in the industry we miss. It's we're not just taking an order. I buy for the company, and there's often times where I'm doing it, and then I'm working on a deal, and it's all, okay, I'll wrap it up and I'll send it out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I feel so cold and sterile, because there's not that communication like I've given customers. It's all through email, it's through whatever, and I'm just like going, man, it's unfulfilling.
Yeah.
And I know for us, that's another huge thing, because a new dealer coming on board can truthfully say, can you help me? I don't know much about the business that I'm getting into, but I've been playing for 20 years. Will you help me?
Yeah.
And that's a great thing to hear. It's a great thing to hear, because you have a person that is willing to listen and apply positive and good information. He doesn't already have an opinion that may or may not be right, but he's got a willingness to be successful, and you guys can work together to become successful. And it's something that is an awesome feeling, because then you get a call going, oh my goodness, this worked. Those guitars you sent me, I sold them and I made money and I want more.
Yeah.
And a lot of people you think that the only thing that we want to do is just push things out the door.
Yeah.
Well, obviously we have to sell stuff, and that's a business, and we have families, but there's something that's amazing when we could take a new business and turn them into an experienced business. Yeah. Several people we could sit and talk about and go, man, they've been in business with us for 10 years. And I look back and go, my goodness, their success, we can actually sit back and say, we had a huge part of it.
Yeah, I just got an email actually yesterday of a person that just goes, "Hey, I've been doing really well with the guitars I've been buying. Please don't forget about me. I'd like to buy more."
Yeah,
and it was stuff that we got in. Our inventory goes up and down, and he bought certain pieces, and that's great. But it's encouraging to kind of get that back. That's going, hey, the decisions that we're making together are good decisions.
Yeah.
And it is. I keep saying we're an interactive business. We work with our customers,
absolutely,
and with them. But in turn, we ask them to work with us too as well. So,
absolutely,
we're just not a sterile business that you can't get another person on the phone.
Correct. And what I also want everybody listening and everybody that's doing business with us and everybody who's thinking about being in business is we want you to make money as well.
Yeah.
We have, I'll never forget a handful of years ago, a certain dealer made a lot of money on a guitar and he didn't want to tell me. And I didn't ask him directly how much money you made. He just said, I made a lot of money on this. I'm like, man, that's awesome. We want you to make a lot of money on these. And he goes, you do? And I said, yes. Yes, we want you to make good money on this. And then he told me how much, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. We ran a special on something.
Yeah.
And he didn't take that special and just mark it up a little bit. He marked it up off the normal price that he would pay.
That's right.
And there was a lot of margin in it.
What a concept.
Yeah. And he was just like so happy.
Yeah.
And it made me happy. It made me going, man, this is awesome. Our dealers can benefit from what we do if they'll pay attention. But that's just something that I want to bring out is we want our dealers to be successful financially.
Well, what about the other end of the spectrum? What about the fact that we're not a good fit for everybody?
Yeah, I think that's very true.
It is very true.
Yeah.
And I feel like, some people, and God bless them, but some people have an idea in their mind of how they want to do business and they want to do it a certain way. And sometimes that might conflict with MIRC. That's great.
Yeah.
That's perfect. And we're not afraid to sit there and say,
this
hey,
isn't a match.
Maybe this isn't a good match.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And there's a lot of, we could go into some of them, but there's a lot of reasons why somebody would not. Some people have a very hard time understanding that we sell used guitars.
Yeah.
Because they automatically, in a lot of cases I understand, but a lot of times they think that they're new. Meaning when they get it, I mean, in most cases they look brand new.
Yeah.
But we sell used guitars. And so a lot of times everybody just immediately jumps on that line of thinking.
Yeah.
And then with that, comes a lot of pitfalls, and it's not. And then we also talked about somebody that goes, I only want this. Mm-hmm. Well, I understand that, but go to the manufacturer. We're here to help people that need a number of different things. We carry a lot of brands.
Yeah.
The flip side of it that people need to understand is we also have to sell guitars.
Yes.
We can't just take a couple brands that you want for your benefit and not sell to anybody else and just sell to you.
Yeah.
We get some people say, hey, before your email comes out, I need you to call me first. When you get this brand in, before you tell anybody, I need you to call me first.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Because I think, to be fair, I tell everybody at the same time.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, because that gives the little guy and the big guy a leg up.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, there was a model that we were running on special, and I just got blasted by a dealer saying how unfair we were and we only care about the big people. And, I wish I had $20,000 a month to buy like your big guys and blah, 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 blah. And I walked out. We have a board out there. And the board was, we were taking orders and writing them in as they came down. And I walked out, and one of our biggest dealers was all the way close to the end of it, and I was counting it up. And odds were that we would run out before we got to him.
Yeah.
Now, here's a guy at the time was spending close to he was spending over $200,000 a year with us. And we were going to have to tell him, sorry, we ran out.
Yeah.
But yet I looked on the list, and there was a lot of guys that didn't spend a fraction of it. Why?
Right.
Because they called before he did.
That's right. We're fair.
Yeah, we're fair. First come, first serve.
That's right.
We want everybody to win. We want everybody to win. We just say, hey, call us.
Yeah.
That's why we do things. We send out a video to everybody. So.
Yeah, and we deal with that, and I get it. We work with a lot of smaller businesses, and when you work with small business owners, emotions are there. And you know what? But hey, our sales staff is here. I think our sales reps are great because we actually take into consideration a lot of times the emotions of running small businesses.
Yeah.
And so, I think, again, that's why we're a huge confidence builder in a lot of people, because we will work with you and try to build your business, even in the midst of those situations.
Yeah, and there's a lot of times where we're I like underdogs. Mm-hmm. I like underdogs. Whether it's any sports or whatever, a lot of times I'm rooting for the underdog. And we have a lot of our clients that are smaller dealers that if they say, hey, I want this guitar, I try to get it for them.
Yeah.
I may be out of it, but I want them to win. I'll never forget a dealer who wanted a Carina Flying V. Well, at the time, there was a lot coming in, and I was like, yeah, I'll get you one. For some reason, we hit a dry spell and didn't have one for several months.
Yeah.
You might get a black one, you might get a white one, but a Carina, it was just hard to get, you know. And it was probably, I'm guessing, 3-4 months later, I call him up and go, hey, I got a Carina Flying V. Mm-hmm. Now, I knew odds were he wasn't going to get it, because it was for a reason that he wanted it. But I wanted to let him know that, yes, I remember that you wanted one. So I called him, and he goes, I can't believe that you remembered that.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I told you the next one I got in that I'll give you a call. Mm-hmm. And he goes, well, that was for this person, and I sold him something else. And I said, okay, I just want to let you know that I was going to call you back. And he just paused for a second, and he goes, well, I guess if one person asks for one, somebody else probably wants one. Yeah. I'll go ahead and take it. Now, I didn't call him. I had a feeling he wasn't going to take it. Yeah. But he ended up taking it because he was blown away that I remembered that he wanted one. Yeah. So we're rooting for the underdogs. It's not just, we're not just here for the big guys.
No, not at all. And in fact, I actually have, our good friend, our good friend in the state just above us wanted a Peter Frampton guitar really bad, where actually I think he wanted one because his wife wanted one. In fact, I found out she actually just wants Peter Frampton.
I know, yeah.
And in fact, they went and saw him in concert last week, and I hope they had a good time.
Yes.
But we do that. We realize that once in the needs of different business owners and small music stores are online, and we work with that. So I cannot stress enough that we're a very interactive business with our clients.
Yeah. So. No, and I think for me that's a great place to be. It makes me enjoy my job. It makes me enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
So.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So I don't know. What else? What else do you think?
Well, let's talk about the podcast, why we started the podcast, because we're on a topic that kind of goes hand in hand with it. And even though I kind of asked the question, I think I'm going to answer, then I'll let you answer what you think. But the reason why I wanted to start a podcast was I felt like there was a wealth of knowledge and experience that we had, because we're dealing with hundreds of dealers that all have unique problems and circumstances, and we wanted to talk about it. We wanted to have conversation about summer being slow, about gearing up for the fourth quarter, and the topics go on and on and on and on that we've covered. The manufacturers, like I said, we have lots of friends in the business, and so we've had a lot of great guests that I look back on, and we're very blessed for that. But that's a big reason why we even started a podcast. It wasn't just to hear us talk and have this room and have these cool mics we just got a couple weeks ago.
They are nice.
Yeah, we've upgraded those. But anyways, but it was because we care about our dealers that we want to say, hey, what can we do to help out? Because there's a lot of people that are new to the business. There's a lot of people that have been in the business for a long time, but they're just discouraged. They're discouraged because it's a crazy world, and you get beat up every day. Everybody wants to take you out. It could be a music store down the road. It can be, if you're a brick and mortar, online is crushing you. Amazon's kicking everybody's butt in certain ways, and it's just not fun. Some days you're just like, this isn't fun no more.
People get in ruts.
Yes,
and they need to find ways to get out.
And talking about it to encourage. I mean, I know me personally, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and man, it gets me fired up. It gets me fired up for whatever topic I'm listening to. There was some that the last couple of days, certain podcasts that I wanted to hear, certain topics that I'm into, because I needed some motivation.
Yeah.
And so I went to them and listened to it. So that's why I wanted to start this. This is why I wanted to do this. This is why I think we'll continue, is because there's a lot of dealers out there that every single day they need a little bit of encouragement.
Yeah. And I think that one of the desires of what we want to do with this podcast is try to connect people too. We have a lot of different guests from the industry out there, and we talk about a lot of great things, but we also talk a lot about some of their struggles as well. People need to know that they're not alone. We all can do that. Yeah, we can all sit there and realize that we're in this together. We can talk about it. We can rely on each other and support each other. So, just because it's a big manufacturer doesn't mean that they don't have bad days as well. So
they just got bigger debt.
Yeah, that's right. And in
more
fact,
SKUs,
Yeah, in fact, I think sometimes these larger manufacturers are starting to rely more and more on mom and pop shops or smaller stores. And I think, we need people to realize that. So, when we were talking with Cosby over at NAM, they're trying to, it doesn't matter what size you are, they want to reach people and get them signed up, get them involved, and get them being interactive within the community.
Yeah. So,
and we need to do that. And I think that's what this podcast is doing. So.
Well, you talked about Cosby at January when we went out to the NAM show, and we were in their welcome center, I think is what they call it. She said, "How can we do this?" We were talking about how can we reach more smaller people. She wasn't talking about, hey, I want bigger stores, I want franchises, I want all this big glorious stuff. She was like, I want to reach the smaller dealers.
Yeah.
I want to connect with them. So there is a misconception out there that manufacturers don't care about smaller dealers. Like you said, we have talked to several of them that they want to do business. They want to do more business with a smaller dealer. There's obviously some box stores, and there was a season where, it seemed like most of the attention from the manufacturers went to the box stores. But I can tell you behind the scenes, there's a lot of times those guys are going, bring me back to the mom and pops.
Yeah.
Not everybody solely cares about the box stores.
Yeah, and of course, to tie it all in, the podcast and MIRC, MIRC has thrived on working with smaller music stores, mom and pops. And that's why the podcast is great because, like you said, we're getting tons of experience, having relationship with hundreds and hundreds of dealers like this.
Well, I think, and I'm kind of hesitant even talking about this, but I'm going to do it, is there's people don't realize, nor should they, because we don't talk about it, even though I'm going to let it out of the bag right now, that we have had big box stores want to buy all of our inventory.
Yeah.
And completely cut out brick and mortar, everybody. And they've said, we'll buy all your inventory. And the answer is no.
No.
The answer will always be no. Mm-hmm. And I've said we would rather work harder and retain all the business that we have than to make it easy and just turn the keys over to a big box store that can swallow up all of our inventory.
Yeah, that's right. We have no interest in the tail wagging the dog.
Nope.
So that's good. But that's the music retail show.
Unless they buy me a new car. Now, if they come up with a new car, actually,
which car?
Well,
what car would do it?
Well, it wouldn't be new. It would be an old. I want an old Bronco. So a 66 to 77 Bronco. Yeah. If they came to me with one of those, I would probably say, the heck with all the dealers and just do it.
Wow. I'd have to think of what car that would be. That would be for me if I was ever found in that situation. But I don't know what it is. But
I'm sure there's one out there.
I know. I'm sure there is one.
No, I'm just kidding.
But anyways, that's why also on the Music Retail Show, man, we want people to interact. So, if you're listening to this, we want feedback. We want people to be able to start conversations. Where we put the announcement the other day, we're going to be at NAMM in 2 weeks. On that Saturday, we're having a booth that Thursday, Friday too. But on that Saturday, we're going to be out there. Why? Because we want to interact with store owners and manufacturers, and we want to have great conversations that encourage people and uplift the industry and build people up. So we want people to be successful. I think that is. Hey, it should be the Music Retail Show. We want people to be successful.
There you go.
Well, I don't know.
I agree. Hey, let's take about 3 minutes because we got a salesman's lunch today.
Oh, in 3 minutes.
In 3 minutes. So let's take 3 minutes and wind down.
Okay.
And I want to talk about something that is actually, I think we all enjoy, is because we've talking about what we do here at MIRC. The Wednesday, the day before the NAMM show starts, we do a big event here. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to have a huge open house. We obviously always correlate it with NAMM week because a lot of our dealers come into town. Yep. NAMM starts on that Thursday. We have an open house on Wednesday to allow the opportunity for people to come in here and have a huge event. And it is a huge event.
It's fun.
It'll start in the morning. There will be cooking out, so there'll be lunch provided.
Hamburgers, good hamburgers.
Good hamburgers.
Not frozen cheap hamburgers.
Yes.
These are killer hamburgers. Bratwurst.
Oh, man, it's good. Everybody actually talks about the food when they leave.
Yeah.
But it's a great time for people to interact. You see people that are also
other stores.
Other stores.
Sales, huge sales.
Huge sales. We're going to have
entertainment.
Reverb is going to be doing another workshop, which is always a big deal for a lot of our dealers that are trying to grow their business. And so, like I always say in my videos to my customers, my clients, is there's no other place you need to be than at MIRC on that Wednesday because this is our thing. You get to interact with MIRC. Like
the inventory is going to be off the charts.
That's right.
I mean, we're going to have a ton of cool things going on. I just made a purchase yesterday of something that we're going to have for NAMM. The dealers, they just need to come just for that one special.
That's right, because will not get it if you're not here.
It's going to be incredible. So we have a lot of stuff going on. The food, like you said, is awesome. We have some singing, some entertainment, a couple vendors. It's just a blast. It's a blast. But we'll also be doing something Thursday and Friday on a light scale. Yeah. We don't want to interfere with NAMM. We want you to go to NAMM. Yeah. But if you come to town and we open up early, you can come by here. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we've got a ton of deals going on. You got to be here.
Yeah, and we'll be doing on that Thursday. We'll be doing a podcast.
I think we are.
A live podcast.
Yep.
So if you are coming into MIRC for the open house that week, you can.
I don't know if it's going to be live. We're going to
not?
Well, we're going to not live. We are going to record it. We'll have an audience.
Well, I'm sorry. I was thinking audience live.
Yeah, because Ian's over there falling asleep right now. But when we say live, he kind of lifts his head, going, "We ain't doing that."
Yeah, well, that's funny. But anyways, we'll be. But
you know what we should do is we should actually do one live.
We should.
I don't understand why we don't.
I don't know. We could do Facebook Live, Instagram Live. We could do all these things live.
We need to talk about this. We might be doing it live.
Okay. Well, there we go. Hey, our 3 minutes is up.
Got to get going.
Hey, for any of you out there for feedback, just go to the music retail show at gmail.com. But hey, also, if you have never worked with MIRC, and you need good quality used instruments in your store,
buy-ins are easy.
Go to mircweb.com, put a lead.
We're actually good to do business with.
We're great to do business with, and you need to start doing business with MIRC.
I agree with you.
All right.
And we dig our customers. I love dealing with customers, man.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Most customers. All right,
All right, we're done.
I'm going to say something that we'll all regret. We appreciate it, everybody.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Own a music store or sell guitars online? Need more inventory to stay competitive in today's market? MIRC is the nation's largest wholesaler of quality used guitars. Visit www.mircweb.com to become a dealer today.
The Music Retail Show.